Hello, my name is Alfanika Hadiwijaya, and I'm from class LC66. My student ID is here. When we talk about climate change, we often think in technical terms emissions data, measurement standards, and mitigation technologies. However, climate change mitigation is not only a technical matter, it is also deeply political. In this video, I examine the Indonesia-Japan Joint Crediting Mechanism, or GCM, to show how global climate cooperation operates as a political process within global governance. This video is structured into three main parts. First, I explain Michael Zurn's concept of the politicization of global governance. Second, I apply this framework to the joint crediting mechanism. And finally, I present my own argument regarding the importance of legitimacy in sustaining this cooperation. According to Michael Zorn, politicization occurs when global institutions that were originally designed as technocratic and expert-based arrangements begin to exercise authority over other actors. At this stage, their authority is no longer taken for granted. Instead, it becomes subject to public debate, consultation, and political evaluation. The result, global policies are no longer seen merely as technical solutions. They are assessed in relation to national interest, normative values, and perceptions of fairness. Zorn argued that this process generates increasing demands for legitimacy, which are commonly addressed through technocratic legitimation narratives and fairness-based legitimation narrative. This theoretical framework is particularly useful for understanding global climate governance, where technical expertise and political authority are closely intertwined. One concept example of this dynamic is the Indonesia-Japan joint crediting mechanism. The joint crediting mechanism was initially developed as a technical instrument for accounting cross-border emissions reductions. However, its role expanded significantly following the establishment of the Mutual Recognition Arrangement, or MRA, between Indonesia's space system and Japan's GCM. Since then, the GCM has evolved into a global climate governance mechanism that exercises real authority over cross-border carbon credit transactions. Indonesia's effort that accelerated the implementation of the MRA ahead of COP30 illustrate how the GCM has become abandoned in Indonesia's climate diplomacy and strategic positioning within the global carbon market. To consolidate the legitimacy of this authority, both Indonesia and Japan consistently rely on technocratic legitimation narratives. The GCM, framed as scientifically grounded, measurable, and internationally credible, is reflected in the use of measurement, reporting, and verification system and is alignment with Article 6.2 of the Paris Agreement and the involvement of expert and private sector actors. Through this narrative, the mechanism is presented as technically effective and therefore deserving of acceptance within global climate governance. In addition to technocratic narratives, the legitimacy of GCM is reinforced through fairness-based narrative. The Indonesia-Japan partnership is portrayed as mutually beneficial. Japan advanced its emission reduction objectives, while Indonesia received financial support, technology transfer, and assistance for sustainable projects such as Blue Carbon Initiative and nature-based solutions. The benefits are used to justify the mechanism as one that supports sustainable development without exacerbating inequality. Despite this technocratic and fairness oriented narrative, the operation of the GCM reveals clear sign of politicization. The inclusion of the MRA in diplomatic agenda, its discussion in international forums, and the involvement of diverse state and non-state actors indicate that the GCM has moved beyond a closed technical domain. Instead, it has become a focal point of political debates over, over carbon sovereignty, benefit distribution, and Indonesia's strategic position in the global carbon market. Based on this analysis, I argue that Indonesia-Japan cooperation through the joint crediting mechanism can only remain sustainable if its legitimacy is continually constructed and maintained amid the ongoing politicization of global governance. The GCM demonstrates that climate change mitigation is not merely a technical endeavor, but a form of global political practice. From an international relations perspective, the effectiveness of climate cooperation depends not on avoiding politicization, but on the ability of involved actors to manage and respond to it through credible technocratic and fairness based legitimation narrative. So that's all from me. Thank you for watching.